What's going on, guys? This is Empty Box, and this is rFactor 2 from the fantastic newly released Silverstone circuit. Going to be doing a 10-lap race against the AI, all driving Corvette C6R GT2s, as I am myself. And we're just going to be having some fun, because this is actually a very well done circuit, very well done. Easily the best that ISI have released so far. And it looks absolutely fantastic. Now, if only the AI on lap 1 would not be absolutely stupid, but that is an rFactor 2 issue, not a track issue, unfortunately. That is a Corvette on the roof. I'd just like to point that out. Anyways, rFactor 2 is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. You really don't sometimes. Okay. Anyways, in rFactor 2 news, new build, new updates. Didn't really do too much outside of just a multiplayer fix to help prevent lag from piling up and killing your server. As well as, more importantly, kind of in a standalone fashion from the build, demo now available for rFactor 2, featuring the Corvette that you see me driving, you see me racing with at Lime Rock Park. Pretty interesting little combination. Was having some fun there the other day. Actually raced there in the real world. For those of you guys out there who didn't know that, might be thinking that's a weird combination. Nope, not really. Chuck a few LMPs in there and have a good time. But it is a pretty interesting car choice for the demo, though, because I saw a post the other day on the ISI forums about this when this was announced. And it kind of made me think, you know, maybe this guy's right, maybe he's wrong, though. And the more I drive, the more I lean towards he's wrong. But, you know, anyways, he's basically saying the car is too difficult for new people to drive, and all of his friends are like, I want to drive the Clio because I can drive the Clio because I'm a noob, and only pros can drive the Corvette, I guess, you know. Noobs can drive the Clio. Clio's so easy. Clio is so easy. Clio is pretty fun for a front-wheel drive car, but give me a rear-wheel drive or give me death. Yeah! This is a sim. I can drive any car of my choosing, so why would I want to drive a front-wheel drive car with like 190 horsepower? I mean, let's be honest here. Come on now. But anyways, besides that, you know, he said, you know, it's a really difficult car to drive and come to grips with, and it's just not very beginner-friendly, which initially I was like, yeah, I suppose he is somewhat correct. You know, my own experience with the Corvette is kind of love-hate in a way. It is my favorite car in rFactor 2 by a mile and a half because, well, it's a GT2 car, and that's, you know, the type of racing that I like. Really, all the other cars just don't really appeal to me. So it's kind of Corvette by default for me here in rFactor 2. I managed to completely screw that corner up, and the guy in front of me managed to screw that corner up even more. It's always nice. Little bump. Robin's racing, man. But on the surface, it is a difficult car to drive. When I first picked up rFactor 2, it felt really weird, very ice skatey. But as I put more time into it, I realized that it was really a good car to, you know, stick with and learn, because it does drive very naturally. It is definitely what I feel the best car that they have released so far, and it's also really good at jumping, I guess. The guy forgot it's not Mario Kart. But it requires you to drive correctly, sort of like a, you know, Skip Barber car, only it's much more exciting than a Skip Barber car. It really is. Because if you get it silly, if you start driving, you know, super aggressively, you're just going to slow down. You know, that's something that rFactor 2 really makes quite obvious, although it's still very easy to ignore, as I do very often. But it just, you know, makes things clear, makes things easy to predict. You know, it's very nice to drive a car. You know, it will slide around, it will step the tail out, but at the same time, once you get used to it, I mean, going sideways here is just like, oh, I'm going sideways again. Oh, okay. It's like I might as well be playing Richard Burns Rally, for crying out loud. I am that nonchalant about it. It just, it's like, okay, yeah. Whatever. Which in other sims, you know, going sideways is usually a pretty scary experience. You don't want to be going sideways. You don't want to have, you know, super high slip angles, because that's usually when you're really prone to wrecking. But once you get the hang of it, here it's just like, cool. That's awesome. Power slide for the win. It is definitely a very drivable car once you acclimate yourself to it. So if you haven't tried out the demo, if you haven't tried rFactor 2 out, if you haven't tried rFactor 2 out recently, go ahead and give the demo a whirl. You got nothing to lose. Just give the car a proper shot and ignore the fact that it looks like it's modeled in 2007. Easy to do stuff like that. I'm just absolutely mind-blown by how good this circuit really does look for rFactor 2. I mean, I've always thought that rFactor 2 looks pretty good when in motion, when you're actually playing it yourself. You know, it looks nice and immersive, not necessarily, you know, the best-looking game in terms of screenshots, because, well, it's not. You know, or not necessarily the best-looking game, you know, on YouTube. You know, especially once you add in compression, that really doesn't help rFactor 2, but, or any game for that matter. But this actually does look like it is a legitimately good-looking circuit. You know, this rivals what you see in a Gran Turismo game, which I know someone's going to say, oh, well, you're comparing a PC game to a console game. That's stupid. But, you know, for so long, the PC sims have been really lackluster in terms of graphics. And to see something that actually, you know, looks as good, maybe not quite, you know, as good as, you know, GT5, GT6, you know, especially car model-wise, but, you know, even by PC standards, they still do a fantastic job over there. It really is amazing what they could squeeze out of those ancient pieces of hardware. Driving, though, the more I drive rFactor 2, the more I drive this car, the more I begin to like it. And like it a lot. Just feels so natural once you get acclimated to it. Although it is definitely different from other sims at first, because it does seem like you're always going sideways, but... oh, this ain't gonna be good. This ain't gonna be good. Okay. See, you can do stuff like that. That's just like, yeah, whatever. That's cool. Just a dab of oppo. Who doesn't like that? I mean, everybody likes opposite lock. I mean, why do you think, you know, Rally exists? It's because people wanted more opposite lock, you know? I'm going to get a giant power slide here coming out of X if I'm not careful. There we go. Hey, cool, you can see the people in that building back there. I never noticed that. Not sure I should notice that, seeing I'm supposed to be driving, but hey, we are racing against AI, so we're not serious at all. Ah, terrible line through there. Get that first corner wrong, it screws the rest of them up. I like how they got the Viper head car and it's not a Viper. Silly ISI. Would be nice though if they were to add the Viper. Just my thoughts. Because 10 is better than 8, quite simply put. Anyways, that's about halfway through the race. As you can see, the shadows have grown longer. And we cut that way too aggressively. As we march on towards darkness, although we won't get there because the race isn't long enough. Hopefully we'll require headlights towards the end of this. That is the best time to race. Keep it tight, we can power on by him, yep. Well, we're moving up. Not very fast, but with this gaggle of about 6 cars in front of us. Can always just run wide and pass a bunch of them, right? It's very tempted to stick my nose in there and make it 3 wide just to see what would happen, but I think we all know what would happen, but sometimes you just gotta see it happen to make sure it would happen, you know. Can't just trust the fact that the AI would wreck themselves in a blaze of glory of, you know, about 6 Corvettes all mangled up and bits of carbon flying everywhere. The AI does do a pretty good job of applying pressure. Yeah, it ain't happening. It's just kind of when you put them under pressure, they become stupid. That's really the only way I can describe it. I hate this corner. I really do hate that corner. I just can't get it right. I'm not sure because it feels like if I brake later, then I end up going past the groove and getting into the gray stuff, which has no grip because rFactor 2 has that wonderful racing line feature. But it's like if I turn in too early, then I have a terrible line that doesn't hit the apex of the corner down there by those little poles, whatever they're called. Called poles in my part of the world, at least. But it's just weird. That's kind of one of the things that sucks with the racing line and the AI, because sometimes they don't take a line that you would really take. And that just screws you over because then you have no grip when you take a line that is what you would actually take. And the next thing you know, you're basically driving around the track in a goofy manner because you basically have to, even though it's not what probably anybody would do. Ah, what are they doing? Okay, at this point, I'm kind of showing off. Not gonna lie, I had it saved, then I was like, you know what? We're doing really cool, and we're like going really sideways. Let's just keep going. But yeah, I do race against the AI with invincibility on because being punished for AI stupidity is not my idea of fun. I obviously try not to take advantage of it, but that's my policy on invincibility when you're racing against AI. When you're racing online, no. Don't need no invincibility, you need to learn how to race. And I need to learn to not run wide there. Well, we got a little bit better through there this time. A little bit. It's just really weird coming from iRacing, which has the, I guess, older version of Silverstone, the classic layout, even though it's not classic, it's the previous layout. Because they don't have those little red strips coming out of the ground. They're in that left, right, or whatever sequence it is. Trying to drive, kind of difficult to drive and figure out which way the corners are going. I'm a NASCAR driver, man! And there's a Corvette flying around there. Oh, silly, silly, silly. But they don't have those little red curbing that stick up it, which will cause your Corvette to flip, apparently. You can basically get really aggressive because it's just some of that grasscrete stuff that, you know, basically you run over completely unharmed. Just changes the line around through there. No, I want grip. It's just a fine line through there. That corner is... Oh, really? Well, we were doing good. We were, until we decided to turn the wipers on. Probably scratched my windshield, man. But hey, we're almost done. We'll keep soldiering on, see if we can get by a couple more cars and maybe get a good fast lap in. Or we can take shortcuts. Hey, they wouldn't put that green stuff there if they didn't expect you to drive over it. I mean, why do you think they paved the runoff at these tracks? They expect you to drive over it. Every time brings a smile on my face. Going sideways is just too much fun. Should kind of cool my jets. But of course, having spun out and basically torched the tires, you can expect me to drive like a complete and utter doofus. As the tires are quite clearly damaged. As is my driving ability. Wow. Oh, man. Okay. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We are going to finish this race, and we are not going to... We are going to finish last. We are going to finish this race in last, because that's how we do it. Thank you, rFactor, for telling me which way to go. I didn't quite figure that out. Anyways, let's see... let's just have some fun here the rest of this lap, why don't we? Race is already over. We blew it big time. I'm not a drifter, FYI. Just saying. Although if I had a handbrake, put me in that GT4, I think it could be done. I think you could do drifting. In the car is making really weird noises, but okay, enough of that. We're going to just go ahead and finish that. Honestly, pretty impressive. I am very impressed with the quality that Silverstone brings. You know, it's definitely a good circuit to drive. Makes me wish all of the circuits within rFactor 2 were of this quality, because then I'd have a lot more fun with rFactor 2. A lot of selection in that case. Just right now, the quality is lagging behind the selection, which I'm not really a fan of. I prefer quantity over quality, or quality over quantity. Hey, driving while talking is really hard. You should try it sometime. Say some stupid stuff that you don't really mean to say. Quality over quantity. But they got a pretty good quantity. Yes, I'm really having to think this through here. Just not of good quality. Okay, yeah, there. I think I said it in. Just get sideways just for the heck of it. There we go. Race is over. Time to go ahead and destroy this car. Except for we're invincible! Oh boy, animated marshals.